I finally.
No one's ever done 300 bar.
No, especially not sustained. I'm sure they did it on, maybe blew one up and trying to get there or something.
Oh, we blew a lot of engines up.
Yeah.
I've lost count of how many. I think we might have blown up 30 engines, or that's a lot.
Yeah.
So I like a high production rate cures many ills.
Yeah.
So if you have a low production rate, like I mean any given technology development is how many iterations do you have, and what's your time and progress between iterations. So if you have a high production rate, you can have a lot of iterations. You can try lots of different things, and it's okay if you blow up an engine because you've got a high production rate. You've got a bunch of engines coming after that.
Yeah.
If you have a small number of engines, then you have to be much more conservative because you can't risk blowing them up.
Yep.
So that's why one of my catchphrases is a high production rate solves many ills.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've blown up, I don't know, I'm just guessing, at least 20, maybe over 30 engines, and we have melted probably 50 chambers. Maybe more than 50 chambers we have melted.
So when you melt the chamber, are you most of the time able to like save the power pack on it? Or do you just have to scrap the whole thing?
If you melt the chamber, it's usually a benign shutdown. So you've lost the chamber, the sort of chamber nozzle assembly, but the pumps are usually fine, and you can potentially even reuse the main injector.
Okay.
But basically everything below main injector is toast.
Is it potentially benign because as it erodes the layer, it actually begins to almost cool itself more?
Yeah, it's benign. It's like benign in the context of rocket engines.
Yeah.
So
until it starves the injector and creates a hot spot, I'm sure, and all that kind of stuff.
So I mean, if you don't shut the engine down fast, you will have an explosion.
Yes.
But you do have an opportunity to shut the engine down because you can detect a big pressure drop in the chamber jacket pressure will suddenly drop.
Right.
And then you can do a commanded shutdown of the engine. But you will have issues if you don't shut it down because the cooling fluid, the fuel that is cooling, is now no longer cooling the part above it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So it's cooling where the leak is, but it's now doing less cooling of whatever's above it.
Right.
So it's going to start melting all the way up.
Gotcha.
So it'll get ugly fast if you don't shut down.
And so that you mentioned at the last Star Trek event, you were kind of saying, yeah, Raptor 2s are melting. What have you ended up like? How do you keep them from melting? What tricks are you continuing to employ and expand out on, or is it just a matter of tuning the engine back a little bit even to not be pushing it that hard, or?
Well, right now we're optimizing Raptor 2 for robustness as opposed to performance. I think broad brushstroke, we're kind of overdoing it on the foam cooling front.
Yeah.
So we have quite a high percentage of head-end foam cooling and throat foam cooling.
Yep.
So we're probably losing a couple points of efficiency because of the cooling, but it's better to have not melting chambers, and we can fine-tune the performance later.
Yeah.
So we're just hitting cooling with a sledgehammer here. So some pretty significant improvements for Raptor. I'd like to compare Raptor 2 to Raptor 1. For Raptor 1, we have torch igniters in the main chamber. So you can see that the torch, those things on the side there, are the torch igniters. I mean, these guys basically. So you got torch igniters for the main chamber. But Raptor 2 has no torch igniters in the main chamber. So you can see it's much cleaner around the chamber area.
How does it light then?
Well, that's a secret sauce. But I'm just, I can tell you sort of observable outcomes that anyone with a camera could notice, but I cannot tell you secret source things.